Wow. Hey Nandasuno, Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Vilas Manjari, Haribo. Radhanagar, Hare Krishna. Ragaleki, you're right around the corner now. No?
Yes.
Oh, Pundari. He's my guru. Pundari. Help guru.
Please accept our humble obeisances, Maharaj.
Mine to you, mine to you. Haribo, Raikano, Haribo. Oh, look, there's somebody's watching from the room and I can see his face. It's the new celebrity on the block. Jasmine, connecting to audio. Navination, Krishna, okay. Hare Krishna. Sometimes you can't see everybody on the screen, so if I miss anybody, please forgive me. Jai Shri, Haribo. Hare Krishna. Is that Bhakti Shu? No.
Radhananda,
Radhananda. Okay. One more.
the bakery.
Take it to Asi Krishna Swami Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Okay. I'm going to read you something that was. Your battery is running low? Is that you or me or? Okay. Well, it's so happy to see you all. And what's your name?
Sebastian.
You're Sebastian. You look completely different. You got a spiritual body as soon as you walk into this room.
Hello.
It's so good. So, we used to call it contact high. Right? Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, fasten your seatbelts. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talking about unbecoming guru. Just in case you ever want to get into the, Om Agyanati Vinandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukundangri Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Kapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Savadantikam Mukam Karavivachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataramam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Matsamo nasti papatma, naparadi nakrashchana, parihare pilajjame, kim bruve Purushottama. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Yuvati nam tata yuni, yunam cha yavata yata, mano bidabate tadvam, mano me ramatam twayi. Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone. Bhumau Skalitapadanam Bhumireva Valambanam Tvayi Jatapadanam Tvam Eva Sharanam Prabho. Just like, just as the floor is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, so you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. Govinda Balabe Radhe Pratye Tamaham Sada Tudiyam Itijana Tu Govindo Mam Twaya Saha. O Shrimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda kindly accept me as one of your assistants. Radhe Vrindavanadeshe Karunamritavahini Kripaya Tavapadanja Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam. O Shrimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Kindly give me a little service at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have taken upon ourselves the responsibility of welcoming this grave charge. All the audience have accepted ordinary seats. I alone have been provided with a lofty seat. Well, except here there's some pretty fancy seats over there. Anyway. All are being told, in effect, do have a look at a big animal from the zoo gardens. What arrogance. So foolish, so wicked. Have you ever seen such a big brute? Garlands of flowers have been put around his neck. Anyway. What laudations, what bombastic, long, drawn, and hyperbolic adjectives. Oh my. This proves it. Not easy, not easy. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Oh. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. And how complacently, too, he's listening to the praise of his own achievements. How intently, and with his own ears. He also evidently feels delighted in mind. Is he not acting in plain violation of the teachings of Mahaprabhu? Can such a big brute, so selfish and insolent, be ever reclaimed from brutishness? I happen to be one of the greatest fools. No one offers me good advice on account of my arrogance. Inasmuch as nobody condescends to instruct me, I placed my case before Mahaprabhu himself. Now let me give you a little background. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, just after his spiritual master, Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and his father, who's his Shiksha Guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, had left this world. And he had just finished an austerity, a vow to chant 1 billion names. I'll do the math for you. 1 billion names means 192 rounds every day for 9 years. Then you'll chant 1 billion names. Yeah. So after that, he was not just after, but during, he was wondering what he should do, because his Guru Maharaj was a Bhajananandi. He was a Babaji. Something problem?
No problem.
Okay. And so he stayed in the holy dham, and he just heard and chanted and relished. But his his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was the greatest preacher ever in the history of India. So when he says, inasmuch as nobody condescends to instruct me, I placed my case before Mahaprabhu himself. That's what he was doing. And just after that, a paper came, and it was a page from the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And this is what it said. I placed my case before Mahaprabhu himself. The thought occurred to me that I would make over the charge of myself to him and see what he would advise me to do. Then Sri Chaitanya Dev said to me, and this is when he got that, whomsoever thou meetest, instruct him regarding Krishna. By my command, being Guru, deliver this land. In this, thou wilt not be obstructed by the current of the world. Thou wilt have my company once again in this place. In these verses is to be found the proper explanation of the apparent inconsistency noticed above. He whose only teaching is humility greater than the blade of grass has given the command, said, by my command, being Guru, save this land. In this instance, Mahaprabhu himself has given the command. His command being, perform the duty of the Guru, even as I do it myself. Also convey this command to whomsoever you chance to meet. Chaitanya Dev says, tell them these very words. That is, by my command, being Guru, save this land. Deliver the people from their foolishness. Now, whosoever happens to hear these words would naturally protest with palms joined. But I am really a great sinner. How can I be Guru? You are Godhead himself, the teacher of the world. You can be Guru. To this Mahaprabhu replies, in this thou wilt not be obstructed by the current of the world. Thou wilt have my company once again at this place. Oh, look, there's Nadia. I've never seen her before. Hare Krishna, Nadia. Haribo. Hare Krishna. Do not practice the craft of a guru for the purpose of injuring others through malice. Do not adopt the trade of a guru in order to get immersed in the sloth of this world. But if you can indeed be my guileless servant, you will be endowed with my power. Then you need not fear. I have no fear. My Gurudev has accepted even such a great sinner as myself and has told me, by my command, being Guru, save this land. It is only those who have never heard these words of Gaurasundar who say, how odd to listen to one's own praise. While the Guru is instructing his disciple in the 11th skanda of the Bhagavatam, what a great sin in their opinion is he not perpetrating? What is the Acharya to do when he has to explain the shloka? Acharya mam vijaniyat. Never disregard the Acharya. Never entertain the idea that the Acharya is your equal in any sense. These are the words Sri Krishna himself, of Sri Krishna himself, by which the jiva is to be benefited. If the Guru is to take himself off to desert his seat, the seat of the Acharya, from which these words are to be explained. That office his guru has conferred upon him. If he does not act up to its requirements, he is doomed to perdition by reason of his offense against the holy name in the shape of disrespect towards his guru. Yet he has to do it in spite of the fact that such procedure is apparently open to the charge of egoism. When the guru imparts the mantra to the disciple, should he not tell him by this mantra to worship the guru? Should he say instead, give the guru a few strokes of the shoe or the horsewhip? The guru is never to be decried. The guru is the abode of all the gods. Should the Gurudev abstain from communicating these words to his disciple while reading the Bhagavatam to him? To him alone, who possesses guileless spiritual devotion, similar to the transcendental devotion that is due to Krishna himself, to the Gurudev, the holy mysteries are manifested. Is the Guru not to tell these things to his disciples? Atau Guru Puja. The worship of the Guru has precedence over all others. The Guru is to be served just as Krishna is served. The Guru is to be worshipped in a particular way. Is the Guru to desert his seat without telling all these things to the disciple? In the angle, there is always the defect in the shape of absence of the fullness, the evenness of level of 180 degrees or 360 degrees. But in the plane surface, in 360 degrees, there is no such defect. That in the emancipated state, no defect is possible. This simple truth, ordinary, foolish people entirely fail to grasp. As the saying goes, having started on the dance, it is no use to draw close the veil. I am doing the duty of the Guru, but if I preach that no one should shout Jai to me, that is to say, if I say in a roundabout way, sing Jai to me, it would be nothing short of duplicity. Our Gurudev has not taught us such insincerity. Mahaprabhu has not taught such insincerity. I will not be guilty of any insincerity in carrying out the command. In this matter, I will not accept the ideal of ignorant, insincere, pseudo-ascetic sectarianism. I will not learn insincerity. The worldly minded, the malicious, the pseudo-renunciationists, the selfish, cannot understand how the devotees of God, spurning at everything of this world by command of God, never, not even for a second, deviate from the service of God throughout all the 24 hours. Hypocritical, sectarians, pseudo-Vaishnava sects, those sects that cherish internally the longing for earthly fame, naturally enough think, what a shame it is for one to listen to the eulogies of disciples occupying the seat of the Guru. But every Vaishnava regards every one of the Vaishnavas as the object of his veneration. When Thakur Haridas exhibits the attitude of humility, Mahaprabhu says, "You are the greatest of the world, the crest jewel of the world. Be agreeable. Let us have our meal together." He carried in his arms the body of Thakur Haridas, which is eternally existent, self-conscious, and full of spiritual bliss. In the community that follows Sri Rupa, the qualities of desiring no honor for oneself and the readiness to duly honor others are fully present. Those who detect any disparity are, like the owl, blind while the sun shines. They commit an offense by such conduct. If I disobey the law which has come down to me through the chain of preceptorial succession, the offense due to omission to carry out the command of the Guru will sever me from the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev. If in order to carry out the command of the Vaishnava Guru, I have to be arrogant, to be brutish, to suffer eternal perdition, I am prepared to welcome such eternal damnation and even sign a pact to that effect. I will not listen to the words of other malicious persons in lieu of the command of the Gurudev. I will dissipate with indomitable courage and conviction the currents of thought of all the rest of the world, relying on the strength derived from the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev. I confess to this arrogance by sprinkling a particle of the pollen of the lotus feet of my preceptor. Scores of people like you will be saved. There is no such learning in this world, no such sound reasoning in all the 14 worlds, in no man gods that can weigh more than a solitary particle of dust for the lotus feet of my Gurudev. Gurudev, in whom I have implicit trust, can never spite me. I am by no means prepared to listen to the words of anyone who wants to hurt me or to accept such malicious person as my preceptor. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavata Shraya. Yeah, no, I'm over here. I'm not over there. I'm over here. He's looking in the back of me. Hare Krishna. How nice to see your smiling face. Oh, trade us. I'm so embarrassed in front of my godbrothers to go to do this. Oh, go, what to do? Hare Krishna. That's all I have to say about that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Beautiful reading. Can we turn you over to our host for today's celebration, Her Grace Rati Manjari, Devi Dasi. Rati, would you like to say a few opening words or whatever you'd like to? Hare Krishna.
Wow, this is a great setup. I can't hear you speaking.
I can unmute myself. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, dear Guru Maharaj, dear respected God brothers, God sisters perhaps, of His Holiness Keshav Bharatidas Goswami. We humbly and happily want to welcome you all to this very most blessed event of the 75th Diamond Jubilee. I'm going to say it right now, Maharaj. Diamond Jubilee of the appearance of His Holiness Keshav Bharatidas Goswami.
You know what Prabhupada said about a diamond? Do you know what Prabhupada said about a diamond?
What?
He said, diamond, if you have a very, very rare diamond, like one of the largest in the world, and you have to have so much money to buy it that nobody is coming to buy it, do you throw the diamond away? Well, you know, it can happen that devotees can think not very many people are coming. We're distributing all these books. We're doing all of this organization, all this preaching, and hardly anybody's coming. And then some give up the process, thinking it's not going to work. But actually, it's a diamond, which be cherished in the most sacred place you've got in your house. Secure place. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. Now feel free to interrupt. This is your party.
My
Maharaj.
occupation. God brothers were always getting on my case. Go ahead.
It's all right. It's all right. So yes, so we have a few hours, precious hours, which will appear like time is not existing, as we will be hearing from all the wonderful devotees, as they're opening their hearts to Maharaj and showing him appreciation for everything he means to them, to us. So we have so many who would like to speak. So let's keep this intro short. Basically, we will be hearing from different devotees, and every now and then, if there's a short break needed for Maharaj, then I've been told that His Grace Radharaman Prabhu will read something. Is that correct, Radharaman?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, because we cannot imagine a celebration for Maharaj without reading of Srila Prabhupada's books. So that's why we have intersected them. And whenever you feel, Maharaj, that you would like to take a small break, you please go ahead, and it will be filled up with the nectar of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, without further ado, we have people from different time. Yeah.
Can I get it now so we can hear CC?
That's right.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So, because we have devotees from different time zones, we have, you have many, I call it affectionate followers, disciples, friends, well-wishers from the whole world. So we have here His Grace Bhagavata Shai Prabhu. Prabhu, would you like to unmute and give us your kind words, or us give to Maharaj? Yes, like this. Do you know how to do that? It's like on the top, you go the little blue square on top, and it says mute, and you click on that. Then you can unmute and you can speak freely. If you go with your mouse, yes, great. Welcome, Prabhu, an old friend, a dear friend of His Holiness. I don't know much, but what I remember is that you were together in England, and you were very close. Now you are, where are you now, Prabhu? Bhagavata Shai Prabhu?
Right now, I'm in northern New South Wales in Australia.
Just see. So, feel free to
In
take the floor.
Bhagavat was the temple president of London, ISKCON, when I was there. And we worked together intimately to try to convince as many folks to come and join the movement as possible. And by his association and by his incredible personality, there was such a family atmosphere in that temple. It was famous all over the world and still remembered as such. We're taking a little journey back there. Okay, sorry. Bhagavat's used to it, you know. He's known me for so long, he knows I have to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this first. I wanted to hear some other people.
Would you prefer that? It's possible. If you have time, then if you don't have to rush out, then we can do that.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Okay.
Once you're on the stage, no use pulling the veil.
Yeah, but we are flexible. It's just the beginning. We have another devotee. We have another devotee in Down Under. It is her Grace Vilas Manjari. Are you up to it? Where is she? Yes. Can you unmute, Mataji? And you can share your appreciation for Maharaj.
But I'm not going to let him get away for too long.
No. He will be next.
Oh, good.
Letting him get a little lukewarm. Get
Oh,
ready.
all right. Oh, all right.
Vilas Manjari, welcome. Wonderful to see you. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm a little embarrassed to speak first in this very senior assembly, but you've asked me to, so I'll follow directions. Let me see, I've written a homage. First of all, please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj, and All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you and to your 75th Vyasa Puja celebration. So I've written a little homage, and it's interesting that you're talking about the Diamond Jubilee and diamonds, because that's what I was thinking about when I was thinking of your daily readings and how much I've gained, how nourishing this has been for me. So let me offer this homage to you. 3 years ago, I walked into a diamond shop. When I entered and heard you reading Srila Prabhupada's books, word by word, out loud with the devotees, I knew I wanted to stay in that very rare and exquisite shop and hear about all the precious gems that were stored there. Actually, I had signed up to buy diamonds long before this, and I had these diamonds sitting on my shelf at home. I often opened and read them, but this time was different. I felt like I had come across a master jeweler who had such an appreciation for these precious gems himself that anyone who heard from him got caught up in his taste and enthusiasm and developed the same sense of appreciation. Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna consciousness is like a diamond, so don't expect that many customers will come to buy diamonds. But there's something else very special I've noticed about the Daily Readings Diamond Shop. While the regular customers may be fewer, they become such relishers of the diamonds that they become sellers of the diamonds too. As far as I can tell, all your regular diamond customers go out distributing the diamonds as well through Harinam, book distribution, and Prasadam distribution. One day I thought to myself, no, not everyone. What about Sudevi Dasi? She's an older Prabhupada disciple, retired. She's just relishing hearing your reading every day. Then the same day that I thought that, I turned on a recorded reading, and there was Sudevi's comment saying that she'd been out distributing prasadam and books to her neighbors. So I was convinced anyone who regularly hears with faith and love, as you always advise, unavoidably becomes a diamond seller too. That same miracle is happening in my own life, all the way over here in Australia. I thought I would just be a listener, but I've been swept up in the diamond selling business too, almost without knowing how it has even happened. Now I'm serving the Sankirtan devotees here in the role of book distribution representative for Australia. I have a reading group, a japa group, a street library book distribution team, and I'm involved in the Western Outreach Program and Bhakti Community Sydney, a branch of Vaisheshika Prabhu's Bhakti community in the US. This is the miracle of hearing and chanting in association with advanced devotees.
Hare Krishna.
When I started coming to your daily readings, that was a turning point for me. At that time, I was a full-time school teacher and a single mother of a teenager with no time for service. Now my career has ended, my daughter has moved out, and my life is just hearing, chanting, and serving Srila Prabhupada's mission.
Haribo.
My spiritual master, His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj, himself a master jeweler, told me in the very beginning of my spiritual life, Sankirtan is the safest place in the material world. And he instructed me to read Srila Prabhupada's books, hear, chant, and share my good fortune with others. I started out well, distributing books for several years, but as life went on and became more complicated, marriage, divorce, family, career, bills, I found myself on the periphery of the Sankirtan movement. For 20 years, I watched from the sidelines. I tried to participate, but felt myself too overwhelmed with material duties to be steady in service. Now I realize my problem, my cup was empty. I had nothing to share. Listening to your daily readings every day, I have experienced the overflow principle in action. Fill up your own cup and it will flow on to others. So I'm not just addicted to your readings, I am dependent on them. Your readings nourish my spiritual life. They nourish my service to my spiritual master, and they also nourish those that I come in contact with too. So today, I want to sincerely thank you with deepest gratitude, and I pray that I can go on hearing you read Srila Prabhupada's books forever. Your servant, Vyasa Manjari Devi Dasi.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful, well written, well delivered, and profound. Thank you so much. That makes my life. Knowing that just one person has done that, and I know more have, but this makes my life. Thank you so much. Vyasa Manjari. Hare Krishna.
Jai, thank you. Wonderful. What a wonderful opening also. Krishna arranged. Thank you so much. Bhagavata Shri Prabhu, may I turn over the mic? No? He says no. What to do? I cannot order him. He's a Prabhupada disciple. Are you getting ready, Prabhu? Please.
Well, no, I want to hear some more other
Okay.
offerings.
We
Have
have
got
another
church?
one, a very nice one. It's
Yes.
His Holiness.
I would just like to say a few words about Vyasa Manjari.
Okay.
I don't want to say this. Well, I'm going to say this. I guess probably if I have any talent, it's to spot talent. And I've known Vyasa Manjari, well, not really known her, but I've known of her. I met her a few times about 15 years ago, and she was right in the middle of that struggle that she was talking about, being an abandoned single mother, bringing up a daughter on her own, and having joined the movement at 18 years of age and spent so many years on Sankirtan, she found herself in a very strange situation. And anyway, I was in Brisbane at the time, and I saw her there at some programs, and she made a very, like today, she's made a very eloquent and heartfelt offering. And I remember she made a similar offering to her spiritual master at that time, and I was impressed by that. But then I didn't see her again for many years because I went away from Australia, and I didn't come back again until like 2017, and I happened to meet her at a Vyasa Puja here at New Govardhan of Indraduna Maharaj. And she was at that time thinking of moving to the New Govardhan area, which is about 500 miles north of Sydney, 800 kilometers. And I convinced her to stay in Sydney and preach, which she did. And she got involved in preaching. And like I said, I don't want to take any credit for it, but I happened to suggest to her one day that she would probably get some benefit from listening to Maharaj's readings. And I was very pleasantly surprised how she took it up, and you can see the effect that it's had on her life. One thing she didn't mention in all of that was in the process of going through all the difficulties she was going through. Just a couple of years ago, she had a very serious car accident and suffered a very bad bruising of her brain, which was very incapacitating for her. But nonetheless, she carried on regularly hearing Maharaj, and she had to stop working. She had to change her life around completely. But she always had complete faith in Guru and Gauranga and in Srila Prabhupada and his books. And now, to the benefit of all of us down here in Australia, she's going through a reflowering of her involvement in the Sankirtan movement.
Very nice.
And she's doing very wonderful service.
Hare Krishna.
And I don't know if she's said anything formally to you yet, Maharaj, but and I hope I'm not breaking any confidences here, but she spoke to me just recently about how she would like to have some formal shiksha relationship with you in her life.
After hearing what I just heard, and I already knew it from last year's offering.
I hadn't finished. You've interrupted me again.
But I want to say one more thing before you go back. It would be a delight for me. Hare Krishna.
Well, I really could not recommend her highly enough to you as a person to give shelter to.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Bhagawan. Thank you.
Wow. Unexpected fruits of the gathering. Wonderful. Thank you, Bhagavata Shai Prabhu. Lovely. So would you like to keep the word and add some of yours? No?
No, I want to hear. I want to hear others.
Okay.
I want to hear others.
Maybe then when you are ready to speak, maybe you can let me know. Okay? Or let us know. Then we'll
I'll interrupt. I'll interrupt when I'm ready.
All right, all right. So maybe
I know there's the etiquette of, you know, God brothers and God sisters speaking first, but I'd like to hear disciples speaking.
Okay, clear.
Well said, Bhagawan. Well said.
Of course, I'd also like to hear Treya speaking, but
let's ask him. Treya's Prabhu. It's a little earlier, but only 9 minutes earlier than your request. Would you be ready to speak? Would you like that?
Yeah, it's spontaneous. I'm not a writer. I don't like to write, so I'll speak from my realization, my heart.
Please.
I guess I can kind of Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachana Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. So I'm very happy to be asked to be able to say something about my good friend, His Holiness Keshav Bharati Maharaj. I think we've known each other since I joined the Radha Damodar party. Our relationship became strong when I was in the Radha Damodar party, even though I didn't see him very much. I'll explain why. It's not that we were on the same bus and we traveled together or whatever. Because he joined in San Francisco, so sometime, and I'm also from San Francisco. I also joined there. So some people think we knew each other then, but actually I was long gone by the time he joined. I was in Boston by that time. So we actually met in the Radha Damodar party. But the thing was that he distributed books for a while in the Radha Damodar party, and then somehow or other he became recruited to do the administration for the whole party, for all the different buses, all the different groups, I think he still has headaches about thinking about those times when he had to sit in an office and take all the accounts and take all the results and everything for the whole time that the biggest book distribution party in history was expanding all over America. And he was like the head of the brain and the central office where everything came in. he and what was the other devotee's name? Starts with an R.
Rajendranath.
Rajendranath. But it was mostly you heard. But and the special feature was that anywhere you were, and we were traveling all over America, and we were going out in cold and rain, and I remember one time we were in Minnesota. It was 20 below zero or something. And we knew that any time when it was just getting to be too much, even there was no cell phones or anything, but somehow you could get on a payphone and call.
Phone booths. We managed the thing without internet, without cell phones, but pay phones. So yeah, imagine there was 140 devotees out there traveling all around America. And we had to figure out and
keep all
connect
connected.
the time with the place and the person in order to do the management. Yeah. Those of you who have not been alive without the internet, they will understand just how difficult that was.
Yeah, it was, we would, at the end of the week, each group leader had to get all this, write all of his results down, all the different devotees, all their results, and go in a phone booth with I don't remember if you were taking collect call. I think you did a collect call, something like that. Or else we had to go with a whole bag of quarters. And
yep, that's the way it was. Generally, they did a collect call.
Yeah, we did a collect call, but it wasn't just for giving results. It was because Kesha Bharti Maharaj, he was like the father of everyone, the encourager, the shelter of all of us. So I knew, and that would happen when we were in New York, when we moved into New York, and I was out on Sankirtan. I have a crazy mind, so I would be out on Sankirtan, and sometimes it would be, after people are not so friendly in America, so at least in those days. And sometimes you would have some difficult moments, but you always knew that I can, when worst came to worst, I'm going to call Kesha Bharti Maharaj. And he would put you back together, be back out on the street again. And that's
in a detail. Can I fill in a detail? What most people don't know is that at some point along that journey, when the Chaitanya Charitamrita full set was printed and came out, I blackmailed Ramaswamy. Yeah, I was sending in the remittance to him for the BBT, and that in those days, the remittance from the Radha Damodar party was much, much more than half of all of America. I would say 3/4. And so I called him up and I said, Ramaswamy Prabhu, I was thinking it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to turn in our remittance this month.
Unless we get a Chaitanya.
You can't, what? No, that's not possible. Ramaswamy was so effusive. And I said, well, I heard that the Chaitanya Charitamritas are going to come really soon, like just any day. He said, that's right, they're coming in on the plane, just any day. So I said, okay, you send me a set, the first set that comes off the plane, and delta dash it. Delta dash means a special service that you just take it off the plane, put it on another plane, and it goes to the place where it has to go to. Because you can't do this. This is blackmail. I said, well, anyway, I'm just thinking.
There you go.
But he did it. And we got the first box of Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe one of the first of these. And I remember we picking them up from the airport and then driving back 45 minutes to the temple from the airport and taking each volume out, never having seen it before, and tears coming to the eyes while we looked at all the pictures and the books. And so the secret of the Radha Damodar party, when it really took off, was when we got back to the little house, which was our home office. I gave up the number crunching that you alluded to, gave it to Rajendranath, and I just sat on a desk and I just read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And whenever anybody called me up to be put back together, I just read to them out loud the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that was, to my realization, was the secret to that party's success, rather than management. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, his inspiring words, especially then his inspiration to read Srila Prabhupada's books, that I take as my guiding light, that everything we need to know, everything that our guiding light, our inspiration. I also, whenever I give class or talks or anything, I just read something and give a few comments, and people say, "Oh, such a nice class." I say, because I'm just reading and making a few, just explaining a little bit. But the main thing is the Prabhupada and that's why he has the most important mission. Keshav Bharani Maharaj has this mission. Now I'll move on to the present day, because I remember him. Like I said, I hardly ever saw him. He was in this little office down in Florida somewhere. And it wasn't like you could speak like this on Zoom and see you or see each other. And it was just a phone call from a phone booth in the middle of, Minnesota somewhere. And that because he was so connected to reading Srila Prabhupada's books, then he could just inject you with inspiration to go on. And that's how he was keeping 140 book distributors alive, keeping them. I was probably one of the ones who called them more often, because I was always on the mental platform, but somehow he would, by that inspiration of knowing that our shelter and our guidance and everything is in Prabhupada's words, and it's really in his books, then that made everything successful. That made all of us successful, and made the whole program successful. And now, and it is so inspiring now that over these last few years, he's just gone straight to that and put it out. Now that with his technological facilities, is able to distribute that inspiration to everyone all over the world by reading Prabhupada's books and understanding that there's no need for anything else. There's no need to add or subtract or give anything new or new bridges or whatever, but just Prabhupada's books make devotees. That's what will inspire people and make devotees. We had a program here. Some devotees started a college program in the city where I live. We have a little preaching center, and we organized to have them start this program. And there's one of the devotees on that program. He's really not into. He said, no, we can't have Prabhupada's books there. We can't, because the students will be coming. We can't have, even his own spiritual master's book, Radhanath Swami's book, he didn't want that. And so what happened? But still, some new people came. But what happened is Krishna took him away. Krishna kicked him out. And now we have a program where people are donating. People are donating, and we have at least 700 of Prabhupada's books paid for when the new year starts, after all the lockdown and everything. But now hopefully we're starting new year, and we'll have at least 700 Prabhupada's books to give out to students already paid for. And then I'm sure Prabhupada said to me, he wrote a letter to me when I was in Berkeley many years ago as a president, and he said, you should flood this city with my books. You should flood this. It's full of students. It's a big university city, and now you should flood this city with my books. So by Keshav Bharani Maharaj's inspiration to read the books gives us faith that if we just give the opportunity to anyone and everyone, students, old, young, any person, then that's what will change their heart, which will purify their heart and attract them to Krishna. We're not going to do it better. It's not I'm not going to do it better. And Maharaj is showing that. He's showing that by his own example. And we really, really appreciate, take inspiration and appreciate it so much. That you just keep going and reading and recording the readings and just so it's more and more that vibration is going out all over the world, and that's what will save the world from all this disaster course that's on. There's no other
Hare Krishna.
no other means. And Maharaj has taken such a lead role in this revival of the importance of simply reading the Prabhupada's books as they are without any correction. And we just want to thank him so much and pray that despite all of his physical difficulties, that Krishna gives him many more years to, we can come back 10 more years, another 10 years. I know many old people now, my wife's mother, that are 90 and 95 years old. You can live to 95. Just so you can keep reading Prabhupada's books, because of your faith in them. Then when you read, then it's more potent. It's even more potent. It's like giving more nectar to the nectar to the mango, to the juice. So please, Maharaj, continue for many more years to come, and if there's any way I can serve and help or help expand this mission of just hearing from Prabhupada, then let me know.
Thank you very much, Tridas Prabhu. Thank you very much. So well said and so true. And we shouldn't be in any anxiety that the movement isn't spreading fast enough, or that we need to manufacture some other method for spreading Christian consciousness. It's going to take 5,000 years for ISKCON to reach its apex of its influence in the world. And then it will gradually diminish after that for 5,000 more years. And believe me, and believe the Bhagavatam, you don't want to be around after that, during that time. You can read about it in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's what I meant. That's what Prabhupada meant. When you have the diamond, Prabhupada's books are the diamond. Prabhupada is present in his books. The sound vibration of his books read, especially if they're edited the way Prabhupada wanted them to be edited, into as perfect English as possible. By the grace of Jayadvaita Maharaj, Dravida especially, those books are being, refined in English, and without changing Prabhupada's message or at all. So thank you so much, warriors of the Sankirtan movement, and who has maintained that preaching spirit that he had from the very beginning.
Yes.
Total inspiration. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Jai. Tridas Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Well, for those of you who do not know who Tridas Prabhu is, he's preaching since many years already in Italy. He has his own preaching center together with his good wife, my god sister, Her Grace Krishnaloka Devidasi, also a great preacher. And yeah, they're living the bhakti life. They're doing it, and they never stopped. So it's indeed very inspirational.
Yes.
Yes. So I see that Mukunda Angri Prabhu, I heard that you are also, you are far away and you would like to be one of the first to speak. So right now you're not visible, but if you hear this, maybe you can get ready. And then you can, there he comes, there he comes. Are you ready, Prabhu? Would you like to
give the
offering? Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Mukundangri, Haribol, Haribol.
So I'm in Taipei, and in the temple here, and we celebrated your Vyasa Puja with devotees here. So we had a nice celebration just now, and had a nice feast cooked by some devotees here.
Just for the devotees' information, he's in Taiwan, in Taipei.
So you can see they're all sitting here, maybe.
Oh,
Haribol. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Taiwan.
Haribol, Haribol.
Nice.
Yeah, they're having prasadam just now.
They're jolly. They're happy. So Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, we have a reading group actually. On Wednesday, we have a reading group here. We read with the inspiration of Guru Maharaj. I started this group like a few years ago, and we continue every Wednesday. We read from 7 to 8, and today is Wednesday, so we had this whole reading group here. All the members are here today. So I'll just maybe read my offering and.
Yes, please.
Proof of the pudding. This is the proof of the pudding.
It's in the reading.
It's in the hearing. It's in the hearing. Yes.
Dear Guru Maharaj, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. It has been almost 2 years since we last met at Govardhan, and still it remains uncertain when I will next have your association. When I reflect, what I miss the most about your association is the kindness and love and personal attention you always showered on me. These memories of our past association are a constant. This year again has been a year of great anxiety and turmoil all over the world.
We're having some difficulty from your end, I think, with the internet. What to do.
Okay.
We're having some difficulty hearing you, Mukundangri.
Okay.
Is the
Maybe the
internet?
internet. Maybe it's the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe the internet connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Okay, so I'll continue.
Yes, please.
This year again has been a year of great anxiety and turmoil all over the world. There seems to be a culture of fear spreading all around, and people are living in a constant state of confusion and bewilderment. Amongst all this turmoil, I always feel very fortunate to have the shelter and mercy of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada always said this material world is a place of distress. And somehow, when things are going well, one does not realize the full depth of this statement. But with this ongoing pandemic, Krishna is reminding us the temporary nature of the material world, and that one should not look for happiness in this place of misery. This year also has been very challenging for you, Guru Maharaj. You went through 2 hip replacements. I'm sure it must have been physically very painful to go through these experiences. By Krishna's arrangement, you were under the care of the best doctors, and all went well. This proves very clearly that Krishna takes care of his devotees. However, by your example, Guru Maharaj, you have shown to all of us how to go through challenges in life. Despite all the physical inconveniences, you always look very transcendental and were always fixed on your sadhana and service to Srila Prabhupada. This is great preaching by personal example, and I found this very profound. One thing you always kept on reminding us, that only by reading Srila Prabhupada books constantly one can find safety and security in this ever-changing world. To remain steady in turmoil, one needs to hold on something, and you have shown by your example that by holding on firmly to the instruction of Srila Prabhupada and to the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna, one does not get so much affected. During one of your recent live readings of Krishna book, chapter 80, King Parikshit is speaking to Sukadev Goswami and says, "My dear master, the conditioned souls within this material world are frustrated by searching out pleasures of happiness derived from sense gratification. Such desires for material enjoyment are always piercing the hearts of conditioned souls. But I'm actually experiencing how transcendental topics of Lord Krishna's pastimes are, and can relieve one from being affected by such material activities of sense gratification. I think that no intelligent person can reject this method of hearing transcendental pastimes of the Lord again and again. Simply by hearing, one can always steeped in transcendental pleasure. Thus, one will not be attracted by material sense gratification." Unquote. Guru Maharaj, you have realized the real essence of Srila Prabhupada's teachings and the previous acharyas by reading the scriptures daily online and giving us the unbelievable opportunity to hear these transcendental topics from a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. These readings from the heaven, as you always mention, is giving amazing spiritual strength to the readers. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your non-stop daily readings of Srila Prabhupada books, and hearing these readings are my life and soul. The fruits of your reading are showing now, and I can see such reading groups being formed at all levels all over the world. Dear Guru Maharaj, there is no way to repay the causeless mercy you have shown on me. I pray and repeatedly pray at your lotus feet that I can somehow serve you by giving this bliss of Srila Prabhupada books to others, and somehow assist you in any way to spread the Sankirtan movement, whose foundation is based on chanting and hearing. Your insignificant servant, Mukund Ankaridas. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mukundari, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm tempted to say something, tell somebody, but won't, because it may not be comfortable for you, but he's been a great source of inspiration. And for just to give you an idea of who he is, when he was given initiation in Govardhan, his dakshin was a Toyota Innova Crystal, which is about the best you can get in India. Well, not the best, but it's really top. And that's the level of person he is. So everyone can understand by that your humility and your focus and your surrender from that position that you're in is, again, proof of the pudding. I remember staying at your house and doing the readings there, and how successful they were, and how you immediately took to it. And this is the results. Hare Krishna.
And Maharaj, we still have some devotees who were in your reading when you were in Taiwan in my house. We still have devotees here who were in the part of the reading group.
Wow.
And still remember all those times we spent with you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You make my life worth living. Yes, absolutely.
Haribol. Jai Prabhu. Thank you. Beautiful. So, Asit Krishna Maharaj, we don't want to keep you waiting too long. He's probably in the transcendental realm of Govardhan.
He's always in the transcendental realm.
Let's see. Yes, there he is. Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances. Hare Krishna. Please tell us about your whatever you want to say.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Haribol, Haribol.
Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet.
Hare Krishna.
In your 75 appearance day. So I'm so fortunate because I don't know the system and this online, but I'm so happy to see how first of all I like to say this thing. Instead of actually Maharaj's physical pain and physical discomfort, so how he is so happy, because we know each other like 30 years, and he is such a jolly person and like a child. So same thing his nature is, and it is not possible someone has not if someone not spiritually qualified, he will not able to remain like that. So first of all, I'm thank you your that transcendental nature. You kept it like as it is. So I am so much inspired. Not I myself inspire so many devotees, the newcomer and the old. So you kept because you are the perfect Prabhupada man. Because Prabhupada man means because you are Prabhupada Anugai. Anugai means you understand, no? Because those who properly follow the Prabhupads, so that is the we can see how you took the vow to daily reading the Prabhupada, the transcendental vibration, no, the pure devotee transcendental vibration to broadcasting. Many people are, I also saw so many people are attracted. And it is also now you are such a your physical discomfort, still you are doing the Prabhupada audio book, and that is giving me so much inspirations. And you are 75 years old, but no one, I never feel you are 75 because no one can meet you. You see, although your physical body, it not looks like, but how the inspiration is coming, it is Maharaj, it is so great. And I always I always remember you. And that Trayadas Prabhu, he spoke that his Prabhupada can bless you and Krishna bless you, can remain more year. So we can, not we, many thousand souls can inspire and get the Prabhupada same words through the audio books. And I actually, I was hurried because I have to go to do something. I thought I will get a fast chance. I will speak something. I remember so many things, but because today is also here the Julan and the festival, no? So they call me 2-3 times. So Maharaj, please forgive me. And although the Vaishnava, according to Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vaishnava never die. Vaishnava came, Vaishnava never born and never die. He comes this material world, the purpose is to serve Krishna, for service. So I can, because I so many years I saw Maharaj, his focus how to fulfill Prabhupada desire and the Mahaprabhu desire. And I saw he, instead of he has so much difficulty, like Gokundangi Prabhu says, he had so much difficulty. Still, you can see he always happy. So this is the secret. If he, like this is the Janmashtami is coming, although so the Brajavasi has so much difficulty, but they are remembering the Krishna's pastimes. Nanda Maharaj remembering Krishna's pastimes, so they are always happy. So Maharaj, the position was like that because he's continuously he's studying the Prabhupada books. Even he's staying in London, he was here. I remember we are in where is no electricity, like 28-29 years back. 50-degree hot, the temperature was 50 degrees, more than 50-60 degrees. And we have no electricity. We went one water tank. one water tank, and we chanted there. And Maharaj, that time Maharaj used to chant more than 64 rounds, 120 rounds. I didn't remember. I don't know.
128.
128. So we can see how the circumstance could not affect us. Those who are actually that level. So this is the proof. If as long as we read Srila Prabhupada books and glories, and we chant the glories of Krishna's, so we'll always be happy. So this is the Maharaj. Please, Maharaj, we want to always see like this jolly mood, no? And this is the heart, because Krishna is making him like that. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, thank you so much. I mean, I could speak for the rest of the time about this Vaishnava, as you can see with your own eyes and hear with your own ear. But this is not an ordinary person speaking. Been living in Govardhan all year round. under the most extreme weather conditions you can imagine for the last 28 years. And he knows the Shastra as well or better than anyone. And he's been a Vaishnava from the beginning of his life. When he was 7 years old, there was a big family reunion. He was from a village in Orissa, and his father had hundreds of cows, which means in village that's high. And he stood up in front of all his family and he made a vow to give his life to Krishna without any, Of course, the mother was freaking out, and he went on to, finally we got together in Govardhan, and he came out to visit. He became a devotee, and then he went to Vrindavan, and he came out to see the devotees that he knew in Govardhan. And he had a dream when he was 12 or 13. And Krishna, ever since that day when he made that vow, Krishna started to come to him in dream, time to time. And he came to Vrindavan, and then he went across the street to pay his obeisances to Govardhan Hill. And guess what he saw? He saw the place in the dream that Krishna put him. And he, with tears in his eyes, he fell on the ground and he said, "I'll never leave this place." And that was 1994.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's a transcendental person. And the fact that he would say anything about me is almost too much for me to take. But coming from him, it should be taken very seriously. Whatever he says should be taken very, very seriously. Maharaj, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Taking care of that Govardhan project so nicely.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Your 7 Holy Appearance Day ki jai.
Jai.
Haribol. Thank you, Maharaj.
Wow. I told you it's going to be a wonderful afternoon. So we are going from Taiwan to Govardhan. Now we're going to the actual room and where Maharaj is, because you may have been hearing some giggles and haribols. There are many devotees in the room that we on Zoom we cannot see you, but we know some of them also would like to speak. So is it possible, I don't know, Abai Prabhu or whoever is handling the camera, to have a devotee in the room able to give their offering?
Jasmine's handling the camera.
Jasmine, Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Yeah.
Could you, whoever is most eager in the room to speak, can you put the camera on that person?
Yeah, it's not going to be possible to put the camera on them, unfortunately, but you
Really?
certainly hear them loud and clear. So
Okay.
I would suggest that we can maybe ask His Grace Radharaman to speak first.
Yes,
Happy
let's
to
do that. Okay, so we won't be able to see him, but we will be able to hear from him. Please speak loud and clear, Prabhu.
Recording in progress.
You are now in a spiritual realm.
Maybe he's going to through his own phone. Is that it? What you're doing, Prabhu?
I'm just finding my offering.
Otherwise, we can have another one.
He's finding his offering. He'll
Hang on,
get there.
Is what's happening helping Jasmine or